Hi guys, this is Heather Lynn, and you're watching the Fans View podcast.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Fans View podcast. This week, I am so excited to be joined by someone who has been in the wrestling business in many different facets. She's been in the ring, she's been outside the ring, she's been on the microphone, she's been in the back. She's pretty much done it all. And when she's not yelling at the referees, when the Buccaneers are playing, we're going to find out what she's doing in her spare time from a fan's point of view. This week, I'd like to welcome on the beautiful Heather Lynn. Heather, how are you doing this evening?
I am very good, thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Of course, of course. I was thinking about it today. I think the first time I met you was 2014. I think you were still ring announcing for Shine back then.
Yeah, I was doing, I think, like till about 2016 is when I was done with that.
Yeah, I was just looking at this. Feels like many moons ago. It was many double cheeseburgers ago for myself. um, but I just thought that was pretty cool. I just want to jump right into it because, I find your story to be very interesting. When did you first fall in love with professional wrestling?
Well, I'm the only girl, and I have older brothers, and one of them I'm very close with, and he would watch wrestling, and when I was little, I would sit and watch it with him, and I fell in love with Bret Hart. That's big Bret Hart. I'm still a Bret Hart girl. He's always been my number one. And then I saw Bobby Heenan and Sherry and Elizabeth, and would just watch all of them, and that was my favorite thing to do. So my stepfather wouldn't allow us to watch wrestling growing up. So a lot of the times what we would do is record it, and I'm old, so it was on the VCR, and uh, and then we would put a little black piece of tape over the red light that showed it was recording, so he wouldn't know. And then we would watch it late at night when he went to sleep.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
so yeah, so it was just a lot of watching it from there, and like I fell in love with it because it was exciting and it was fun and it was something that I was like, I really want to try this. Like one day I want to be Miss Elizabeth or Sherry, and that's kind of just progressed from there.
I think all of us children from like the late 80s, early 90s, mid 90s even, I think we all have that yeah, there was this time in my life where I wasn't allowed to watch professional wrestling.
Yeah,
If you were a young boy, it's because mom and dad walked in and Sonny was on the TV. If you're a young lady, God knows what you could pick from that would have got you in
yeah.
trouble.
Oh no, yeah, you don't want to see people throwing other people around and stuff.
It was craziness. The 90s were wild. So you talked about, Heenan and Brett. Who were some of your other favorites, growing up?
Uh, Owen, I loved a lot.
Yes.
I really wish I could have seen what he would have become.
Yeah.
Big Eddie fan. Eddie's always been one of my favorites. There's a lot of just watching pretty much anything back in the day. Love Macho Man. Macho is Macho was cool. So any of those kinds of people, Tatanka back in the day, and I loved a lot of
That's a deep
like
cut. I like that.
yeah, that was the first wrestler I met too. With my father took me to like a signing and I met him. Um, and so that was him and the Genius were like the first two I ever met.
I love that. I do believe you're probably the first guest who's been inspired by Tatanka. So
Oh,
God
I just thought he
bless.
was cool as shit. And sorry for my language,
Oh
but
no, 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 you
I
can cuss. You're
okay.
good.
And yeah, I'm a part Native American too, so that was kind of cool little
Yeah.
thing there.
That's awesome. I mean, I'm not gonna throw stones because my earliest memory of wrestling is being infatuated in love with Erwin R. Shyster. So this is a
I
judgment
love
free zone.
IRS.
Oh
It was
yes.
terrible.
Oh
Rick the
yes.
Model Martel too, one of my favorites. Like those.
Okay. That I can see.
A big Rick Rude fan.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I did not see Tatanka coming, I have to admit. So those are some of the guys that you liked. Obviously, you would later join the business, and we're going to kind of circle back around to it. But who inspired you, to want to turn this from something you enjoyed watching to something you wanted to do?
It was basically like Bobby and Elizabeth and Sherry because like I love the fact that you can go out there and get the crowd to respond to everything you do. and you've got them in the palm of your hand, basically. So, whatever action you take or whatever you say, and the crowd either cheers or boos because of that. And to me, that was just like, I could try that. Like, I really want to do something like that.
Right. That absolutely. I love that. So where did you train? How did you get into a school? All the details. I'm so anxious to hear your story.
Yeah, so I used to live in Las Vegas, and I moved there right when I turned 18, and I was looking at wrestling schools out there, but there wasn't really like there was like one or two, and the one that Yokozuna taught at before he passed away. And then I just like, no, wanted to look a little bit different. So I had met some friends, and they were traveling to Huntington Beach to go to UPW. Um, and I was like, oh, okay. And they were like, do you want to go with us one day? I said, oh, of course. I went with them, and we show up, and UPW used to do Saturday trainings where you would show up, and then you would go to they would train all day, and then at the end of the night they would have a student showcase type show. So I walk in, and Kazarian was there, and like John Cena was there, because it was developmental school. And I ended up going with my friends, and they were training and I was watching, and then they knew I wanted to manage. So Samoa Joe was actually doing the booking and matches, which was hilarious. And my friends walked up to him and said, "This is Heather. She wants to manage." And he's like, "Okay." He's like, "All right, go ahead and get your stuff and you can be on the show tonight." And he literally just threw me on the show. Never once had like been in the ring or anything, just whatever, little training I like tried that day, but I was mainly just observing. And I was like, well, I guess I'm managing this kid I've never met before in my life, so let's go. And I went out there and then like got the bug just from that. And then every weekend almost we would drive up there, and actually then they stopped going and I would still drive up there. And pretty much every weekend I'd spend all Saturday there in the day. Saturday night we would do some student shows, and then I would drive back at like 2 or 3 in the morning. It's like a 4 hour drive or so. And I was doing that for a long time, and then I think it was like 3 months as I started. I forgot, maybe January, December. And they put me on my first Galaxy show, we called them. And those were like the big shows where it would be like in, like a small arena type thing. But since they were developmental, like Edge and Christian were at shows. And like, so my very first big show that I did was the Hardys were on it. And I was a big Hardys fan, like, loved Jeff and everybody. And I remember I was like, I'm going to be sick because I was managing a tag team called Fat at the time, pretty hot and tempting, and we had a ladder match that on that show, and I'm like, we're gonna do a ladder match in front of the Hardys. Like this is, I don't know what to do. Like I'm gonna die. Um, and I literally felt like I was gonna throw up until finally when I went through the curtain, I was fine, but it was very nerve wracking. But it was awesome because like they watched the match, and it's kind of a thing where you do your first big match, and it's a ladder match that the Hardys are watching.
Yeah, I mean, it
Um,
doesn't get any high pressure than
yeah,
that.
I was like, oh yeah, that's great. And then from then on, I just would work, and I worked mainly like UPW, and I worked some other ones like Jesse Hernandez's shows and stuff over in SoCal. I did work, and then after that, I stopped because I had my daughter. And I took a couple years off, and then by that time, Vegas had a couple feds running, so then I started to work out there more.
Okay. So was it kind of always you said you were there, you wanted to manage. Was that always the goal? Was it really a situation where you wanted to wrestle, or did you always just kind of want to be, lack of a better term, on the outside of the ring?
I never really wanted to wrestle full time, but also there were really opportunities for the women to wrestle full time back then. We
Right.
were more eye candy, like when I remember when they did the first women's pay-per-view, the Evolution pay-per-view, and seeing like the women's Royal Rumble and stuff like that, and I it sometimes get emotional when I watch those because it's like, man, if I would have had that opportunity
Yeah.
when I was then, things would have been different because I wouldn't have minded wrestling.
Yeah.
But my heart's always been more so managing, because like I like to be, ringside and observing what's going on, and making moves depending on what's happening in the ring and stuff like that. And usually being at about 90% of the time I was a heel, and I just seem to be really good at that. So
Yeah. I was about to say, you a heel?
yeah,
No, no, I
really,
can't. I
really good
can't.
at it.
I can't see that. So what kind of? Because you did wrestle a little bit. Am I correct in
Just very
saying that?
little. Yeah, very little. I mean, I trained some, but I didn't wrestle like maybe a couple matches here and there. It's nothing
Okay.
big. It's just
Okay.
not really what I was trying to go for.
Right. Right. So I know. I know that you kind of you talked a little bit about the sabbatical you took, when you had your daughter, and then I'd say what was it, 2016ish? You kind of again took a step back from the business. Is that timeline about right?
Yeah, I took time off, and then I was in Vegas. I worked mainly FSW out there and a couple other feds, and then I worked a lot in there in SoCal. So I would do SoCal shows, I would do Vegas shows. I was working a lot, and then I made the decision to move to Florida. Shouldn't have made that decision, but I did. And I moved to Florida in 2013, I believe, and started working out there. And I got lucky. I went to a Ring Warrior show just to go say hi. Pierce was on the show right after I moved here, and I went to go say hi to him, and their ring announcer got sick. And I always have gear in the car when I'm going to shows. It's just a habit. And they're like, "Oh, do you know how to ring announce?" I'm like, "Yeah, I might have done it like once." They're like, "Cool, you're on it." And so I ended up ring announcing for Ring Warriors, which was a televised show, which was a little nerve-wracking, but that was fun. And then I managed a little bit out here, but then I ended up meeting Trevin, and then working for WWN and doing like all the Evolve shows and stuff. And then 2016, things were just like personal life wasn't great. My daughter was, like at an age where it's a little difficult sometimes, and
Yeah,
so and plus I was in school full time at UCF, so I stepped away for quite a bit. It's like 6 years or something like
yeah.
that. 7 years, 6 or 7 years.
Yeah, and that leads me. I was about to say that leads me to
Yeah.
my question. Sorry to cut you off, but what drew you back to the business? Was it just that bug? You started to get that itch again, or was there like something that brought you back?
It's like this toxic relationship. You try to leave and just you come. It's like, oh, hey, we're back. I've always loved wrestling. I mean, even when I wasn't doing anything, I watch it occasionally. Stop in and check out some NXT shows, say hi to some people, and check out some indie shows and stuff like that. And it's just, I've always just wrestling's probably one of my absolute favorite things in this world and my love. I just was like, oh, talking to a friend of mine, my friend Greg DeMarco in Arizona. And I was like, I'm gonna come visit soon. He's like, well, you should come visit and do the show. And I was like, yeah, all right. So, and I went to Arizona and did a show with him. He puts me on the show, and it was the show that Nemeth was on. And so it was a lot of fun. Navajo Warrior, it's his like last year wrestling, and so he's been there since the beginning. Like we've been friends since the beginning. Like when I first started, one of the first people I ever knew. So I definitely wanted to be there for some of that. So I'll probably make it out there, if not the next show, the show after that to do some more stuff. So eventually, I'm probably going to move back west, and if I do, I'll probably work a little bit more out there than here.
Okay, all right. I mean that yeah, the wrestling business. The more I talk to workers and people just associated with it, it's like that toxic ex boyfriend, ex girlfriend that you just can't shake, and every time they
I
call,
tried.
you can't help it. It's in your blood at this point. um, where have been like you've been all over the place. Obviously, like you said, you've been Cali, you've been in Vegas, you've been in Arizona, you've done a lot in Florida. Where are some of your favorite places to perform in whatever facet that might be?
Hey, you. Yeah, watching this right now. I see you. If you're enjoying what you're watching, I've got one quick favor to ask, and it only takes a second, costs you nothing, and makes a huge difference. If you could go ahead and hit that like button, maybe drop a comment. If you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed. Doesn't seem like much, but for small creators, it's everything. So let's help more people find this channel and keep the content coming. And honestly, I'm pretty sure the podcast will be really grateful. So if you're having fun, you like what you see, make it official, click those buttons, and the Fans View podcast will see you next time. Bye, friends.
Florida was fun. Like doing shows at the old Orpheum that we used to do at Ybor City for Shine and stuff like that were a lot of fun for Evolve. Um, so it was always fun. The crowd was always pretty good. SoCal had some really good places to do stuff. Vegas was picking up as I left. Like it was getting better. Now I mean, obviously it's a much better thing now.
Yeah.
Um, but it wasn't like super crazy when I was there, and then now it just started getting a lot busier and a lot crazier. But I just like working. Chicago was fun to work. I've worked Chicago before. New York. New York was a lot of fun. Like
you've
that.
been you've been everywhere. Throw a dart. You've probably been to that state, huh?
I try. I got a
um,
lot more I got to go to.
Hey, I hear you, and that's a perfect segue into my next question: is how active are you today? I know, like you said, you were kind of in, you were out, you were kind of checking it out, but then you're back. It's kind of like John Wick. Like, are you back, or are you kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot
Working
out?
on things. I'm working on things. I got my stuff in Arizona when I get out there. I've been talking to some people here about doing some stuff back in Florida.
Okay.
And then I've got Mania Week coming up, and since it's in Vegas, I was like, well, I'm gonna go. My daughter's going with me, my cousin. There's like five of us girls all going because we want to hang out in Vegas and have fun. Now that my daughter's, she's 21, so she's allowed to drink and stuff. So she definitely wanted to go, and I'm like, it's a good way for me to get all my friends and I consider my family in one spot where I can kind of see everybody all at once. So we're going out there, and then I ended up um, getting asked if I wanted to do a show, and I was like, "Yeah, sure. I'm going to be out there anyway. I love it." And then I just last night, somebody, one of the promotions announcers, I guess I don't know if they couldn't make it. Uh, they reached out to Greg DeMarco, and he was like, "Yeah, Heather's going to be there, so it works." So I picked up a second show. So, and because I'd always have my gear on me, so just in
I love
case.
that. I love that. Can you talk about where those shows are? I know one of them's Podermania, right?
Yeah, so Powder Mania is going to be at the FSW Arena, which is where they're running quite a few shows for the week. And that one is at 10:30 a.m. on Friday.
Whew.
It's early, because they have shows all day.
I
So
would
that
say
that
that's WrestleMania weekend for you.
yeah, I remember this one. So 10:30 a.m. is the show, and it's got a lot of great talents and all women show. Well, all women's, and then there's like one intergender match, and so it's got great names on it. I'm really excited to be working it, and it's got Leva Bates. Leah James. It's got is it? I think no, not Brittany, Alex Gracia. A bunch of people are on the show, and so it's like going to be some really good women's wrestling.
Yeah, it sounds like you're bringing half of Florida with you.
Yeah, yeah, a lot of them are coming with me. Uh, I actually just saw them at a show a couple weeks ago. I stopped by the ALW show, the with the Juggalo Championship Wrestling to say hi to some people, and the girls had, I think three out of the four girls are like, oh yeah, we're on the show too. Like, oh, okay, I'll see you guys there.
And how about the other one that you just got? Are you allowed to announce that yet?
Yeah, I just got that. It's for Manly Wrestling. And it's going to be at the Beer Zombies Brewery over on Bonanza Road at 6 p.m. on Friday, same day.
Okay.
And it's actually going to be a beer release for Chavo Guerrero and Los Guerreros new beer that they're releasing. So they're doing a beer release, and then they're doing a wrestling show immediately after.
Awesome, awesome. And that Podermania show, I also believe, for people that might not be able to get to Vegas, I'm pretty sure it's going to be on the Title Match Wrestling Network.
It
If
should be
you're awake,
streamed.
yeah, if you're awake, is
Yeah,
it 10:30 Pacific time? That's
yeah. So
local
it'll be
time, right?
1:30 in the
One
afternoon.
thirty here, yeah,
Yeah.
Eastern. Heather, there's like my favorite segment to do here is the fan's eye view, where I'll show the guest a picture and they just kind of tell me a story behind it. You might have the most star-studded picture that I've shown yet. So I'm very excited to get your thoughts and maybe tell us a story behind this one.
Yeah.
That
Uh,
fellow with that bandage there looks kind of familiar.
he's he's kind of, kind of a thing. Um, so that was at Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, which was one of my home feds. And that would be Adam Pierce. And then Eric Watts is with him as well. Eric Watts was known from Tough Enough. I believe he's a
Mhm.
writer now for WWE.
Oh,
And Adam, of course, is the general manager um on Raw. And he's doing an incredible job. And he's holding the NWA World Heavyweight Championship, which he had won and I was part of the family stone. So all three of us were part of the family stone. And I'm pretty sure, I think we did a run in or something. And so Adam was standing there, and I was always usually accompanying Adam. And then I would come out with some of the other people in our group as well. But Adam and I have been friends since pretty much the beginning as well. And I've worked with him many, many times at Championship Wrestling. We did other stuff together. And he's one of my favorite people in this world, and I'm like so proud to see where he's at right now. So it's really great to get to see him all the time. Like not in person because he's always busy.
always on the road.
He's always on the road, but I get to see him on TV at least every week, so that's good.
No, that's awesome. I mean, you've definitely gotten to work with some high profile names. Is he one of those higher echelon talents that was just so much fun to work with?
Yeah, him, LA Knight, Sean Ricker
Yeah.
is he's another one I worked with a couple times. And when he was with Percy Pringle over in Championship, we did a match and I remember Percy chased me out of the ring. It was great. Called me, I think he called me a dirty little hussy or something like that. Um and because I was choking and smacking him around and he's like, if you do it again, I'm coming after you. And he ran around, brought his little cane and chased me out the ring. I was like, all
Uh,
right, I'm done.
that's funny. I've seen some stuff on there was an article about, was it about you? I think it was about you actually on Cage Match a couple months ago, and I saw where like you and Sean are pretty close still to this day, right? Like he's Uncle
Is
Sean
it
to your
really? I don't
daughter.
even think I've seen that article.
Yeah, yeah, because it was talking about you just being in the business for so long, kind of flying under the radar, and they mentioned like he's Uncle Sean to your daughter, and like you guys are like super close. So
Yeah, yeah. It's a, he's
I
he's a he's a character.
yeah, I wanted to get
So
him in.
yeah, it's one of the he's also one of the my favorite people. He's good. Him and Scorpio Sky are both pretty close with
Yes.
my daughter. And those are both her uncles along with Adam. And it's I'm really grateful that I have that extended family and she's grown up, with them around and being able to see them and being like, yeah, that's Sean. And we walk into a store and see his stand up poster thing for Slim Jim and it's like, oh great, there he is. So but I'm really blessed to actually have those people in our lives.
Yeah. So how long have you known Sean? If you had to go back in the Rolodex.
About 15 years,
Wow.
maybe
Okay.
longer. 15.
See, I think
Adam's
I'm
been
bougie when people are talking about
24,
LA Knight, and I can recall
25
back to
years.
his NXT
And
days as Slate
and Sean's
Randall.
been 15, 16 years. She was like 5, so yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm important. I try to, be the biggest brain in the room. People are talking about LA Knight. I'm like, oh yeah, I used to watch him in NXT when he was Slate Randall. You guys don't even get it, but I
Yeah,
think you guys got me beat.
I have some of his old shirts from
No
when he was
kidding.
Sean Ricker, like at
Wow,
NWA and stuff. Yeah, I
wow.
have those. I have his dummy shirt from TNA. That's a great one.
These young bucks, they don't even know how much fun those NXT loops are. They don't even know.
I miss those NXT loops. They're hard to get into these days.
Trust me, I know. I've been trying to go to the Jacksonville show like the last 3 times it was on the loop, and like the day the tickets get released, they're
Oh
gone.
yeah, like
It's
sold out
like,
completely.
yeah, it's like trying to go to Full Sail back in the day. I know you know that pain.
Oh, yep. I remember those days.
Those were the good old days, but that's neither here nor there. So we talked about it a little bit in your intro as we start to wrap this thing up, but this is the Fans View podcast, so I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you, what are you a fan of outside of wrestling, that is?
Football, obviously the Buccaneers, yay. Which has brought me a lot of grief over the years, but I've had past couple years haven't been that bad. I love my hockey. I'm a big Vegas Golden Knights fan. Hoping to try to check out a playoff game while I'm over in Vegas because the playoffs start. Big animal person. I have cats. I have my husky, which you probably always see because I'm always posting him. And his name is Asher, but his nickname is Ashhole because he's a he's a demon when he wants to be.
That
But
checks
yeah,
out.
so I love my animals. Between that and then I mean I watch TV once in a while. I go to work and I work out. So I haven't been working out as much because I've been working a lot, but
And you're a
we're good.
Florida girl too. Come on, there's a little bit of Disney sprinkled in there. It has to be.
I mean, I went to Epic recently, and that was great. But like Disney, I maybe in the off seasons when it's not crazy crowded and stupid hot.
Spoken like a true local. I love that.
Yeah, too many people.
Oh, God bless it. I trust
No,
me.
stop moving to Orlando. Stop
I'm
it,
with you.
please.
It's terrible here. The weather's just
Yeah,
ugh.
you don't like it. It's gross. Go away.
um, Last but not least, Heather, this is like my favorite question to ask people because I feel like it really kind of pulls back the curtain and lets people know like who you are as a human being almost. And that question is this: at this point in your life, in your career, like you said, you're a professional wrestler, you're a dog mom, you're a mother, you're all these things. What does the term success mean to you?
Success to me would just be that if I make it even one person happy, with what I do. that's all that matters. And that, and my daughter, getting to see me, and she's going to be at the show Friday, and my cousin and stuff, that are all the girls that they've never seen me. And my daughter has, but nobody else has. So they're going to see me do this. It's kind of, exciting. But even if I just get one person to watch and be like, wow, she's not that bad, or she's pretty cool or something, then that's all I need. Just enjoy it. And it's if I can bring a smile to one person, I'm good.
That's such a great answer. Where can people get a hold of you on social media? Promoters, if they want to try to book you on their show, where can people get a hold of you?
My Instagram, it's Heather Lynn 1024. I think I have part of my promo reel up there, and I think it's linked, but if not, I have to relink it. On X, it's Heather Lynn 1024 as well. Usually on both of those. I'm pretty active on there. So if anybody wants to reach out to me, all they just message me. I check my messages daily. I check my little spam folder too, just in
Yes.
case. So, but my email too is just heatherlynn1024, and it's at Gmail. So I'm always open. I love working, and it's really important to me to try to make it be as good as I can possibly get it. So if somebody wants me there, I do it.
I love that answer. Well, Heather, I want to thank you so much for stopping by. I don't want to take up too much of your evening, but hopefully we can do this again sometime down the road, because I feel like we just barely scratched the surface of your time in the business.
But yeah, I gotta go get packing. I leave
Yeah.
Wednesday. Haven't even started packing yet.
Oh my goodness. God bless you. I've done way too many WrestleMania weeks. I think I'm retired at this point. The social meter gas tank better be all the way full, because God knows by Saturday, Sunday it will not be anymore.
But I'm staying for a week, so yeah, be fun.
Ooh, better you than me, boss lady. Well, guys, make sure you go support Heather. She's very talented. I've seen her in action. She's good at what she
Thank you.
does. Book her, promote her, watch her, love her. We all do here at the Fans View Podcast. Make sure to give her a follow on socials. And until next time, guys, just make sure you call your mom. We are good.
Hey guys, this is Heather Lynn, and you're going to be watching me on the Fans View podcast.
If you haven't liked or subscribed, you're going to be joking me.